right, hello again, now for two people. So today is the day that you guys are going to get a little bit mad at me because we spent the last week solving 3x3 systems by hand, doing that Gaussian elimination, getting all the ones and the zeros, so we get our solution. And it was a long process. But we do have technology in the 2020s, so it's time to start seeing how to do that also. So I'm not going to call this a shortcut. It is important that you do know the process of doing these things by hand, but there are some systems, like some of the ones you saw on the formulating assignment, where you get some big numbers, some decimals, stuff like that, that you could do by hand, but it'd make a whole lot easier if we use some technology. Now, most calculators these days can do matrices, but if you don't have a calculator, that's totally fine. We're going to use a website up there, and I'll have it linked on Schoology also. It's just desmos.com/matrix. I'm going to show you what that looks like. Super easy to use. You got to go from there. However, the first thing you do have to be able to do is write your system and then take your system and write it into a matrix. So like our first example here, you see 3x plus 4y plus 5z equals 24.4 and so on. We write that as a matrix just like we've been doing the whole time. And then you go to this website, and I'm going to show you what this looks like. And then when you type that in, all you got to do is hit one extra key and be able to go from there. Now, the one thing to be mindful of and again, I'll show you the website in just 1 second, but when you first go there, hit that little blue new matrix key, and then you have to adjust the number of rows and columns, right? So for all the ones we're going to have, it's going to be 3 rows and 4 columns, and then you just type the numbers in. Now, be super careful when you're typing these numbers in, double or even triple check your numbers. Even if you drop one negative sign or, just kind of get a little careless on typing one number, it's going to throw the answer way off. So make sure that your numbers are in there correctly. Okay, once you get them typed in, and again, I'm going to show you that on that website here in just 1 second. Once you get them typed in, and again, it's going to kind of default to the first letter that hasn't been used, so in this case, matrix A. After that, all you got to do is go down to the bottom here and type in and click the bottom key where it says RREF. So you're going to click that bottom key and then type in the letter of whatever matrix you use and hit enter, and looky here. It's going to give you this format right here, which should look familiar to you from last week. It's got all the ones, all the zeros, and that is our solution. Now, in this case, it just defaulted and gave us the decimal answer, but you can also click this little guy right here. If you click this little button right next to the matrix, it'll turn your answer into a fraction. So you can certainly write it either way. It's completely up to you, or kind of whatever your teacher wants you to do. Excuse me. But you can go, and you can just go back and forth. If you hit that little button again, it'll go back to the decimal and just kind of toggle back and forth. So that's really it. So write your matrix, your augmented matrix, type it in the calculator, and then do the RREF, and you'll have your answer. So again, just make sure, if you want to pause the video real fast and kind of do these two on your own, again, the website is desmos.com/matrix. And I'll go through these examples real quick, and I'll show you on the calculator what it looks like also. Now, the one thing you can get in the habit of doing, every time you do the first one, you can just clear everything, or you can just do different letters for each matrix you're doing on your assignment or what have you. So again, we do want to make sure and write the augmented matrix. And then once you have that, you're just going to type it into Desmos, do the RREF. And in this case, your answer should come out to be -2, 6, and 3, which of course we'll write as a coordinate point like that. Now, let me go and show you what the actual calculator looks like on the web page, just so you can see it. So here it is right here, and I've already gotten, this is where I did the first one, and then just kind of going on through there, the -2, 6, -3. And again, I just use different letters for the different matrices as we go down all the way through the process. Okay, So that's what it looks like. Again, anytime you want to, you can just hit that clear all button and it'll clear everything out, and you can do everything um, just using matrix A or whatever. The other buttons at the bottom here, the A squared, A minus 1, stuff like that, we're not going to use those a whole lot in Algebra 2. It's something you would use later on if you go into pre-cal or some other upper level stuff with matrix, specifically with matrices. So that's really it. I'm going to go through and go and fill in these last couple of examples, but you should practice yourself on making sure that you're writing the systems correctly and typing them into Desmos. Now, there's two things I want to point out to you here. Notice sometimes your equations may not be in the right order. In other words, we have to have all the x's lined up and then all the y's and the z's and the answers. So in the next example here, notice they're all kind of mixed up, right? So we got to do a little bit of algebra so that they're in the right format. So that top equation would just become 2x plus y plus z equals 3. The second equation is good. Don't have to do any changes there. And then the third one, they're all on the right side. They're on the same side of each other, but I just got to rearrange. So it becomes 3x minus y plus z equals 9. So again, my augmented matrix would be 2, 1, 1, 3, 1, 2, negative 2, negative 4, 3, negative 1, 1, and 9. And when you put that into the matrix calculator, you're going to end up getting 2, negative 2, and 1, which of course you write as that point. The other thing you got to keep an eye out for, which we saw sometimes on those formulating questions, are missing terms. Okay, so if you don't have all the variables in there, you have to make sure and put a 0 for that spot. So in other words, if you see this top equation here, top equation is fine. So it's going to be 4, negative 4, 2, negative 14. But my second equation is missing a z. So the 4 and the 2 are fine for the x and y, but when I get to the 0, I got to put the 0 as kind of a placeholder for that. Same thing on the third equation. It's missing an x, so the first one's going to be a 0, and negative 3, 1, and negative 10. Again, super important that you do that. And remember to put that placeholder 0 anytime you're missing a term. And again, I encourage you to put this into Desmos. Make sure you're putting in the calculator correctly, but when you do that, your answer should come out to be 0.5 or 1/2, 6, and 4. And I wrote the 1/2 as a fraction, but you can write it as a decimal too, of course. Okay. Lastly, we did this before, but I just want to kind of review for you what it's going to look like when you put it in the calculator and making sure you notice these things. So we got a couple special cases, right, when we have no solutions or infinite solutions. So again, if you put this in the calculator, and we can do this by hand pretty easily too. But I'm just show you here real quick. If you put that into Desmos, what you get on the bottom row, and I don't even care about the other numbers, but that bottom row is all zeros. If you remember what that means from a week or so ago, that means there are infinite solutions. Okay, so anytime that bottom row is all zeros, all zeros is going to be infinite solutions. And then, of course, we have one more special case also. So again, if you do this one, and you pop that in there, the bottom row ends up being 0, 0, 0, 1, which basically means 0 equals 1, which obviously doesn't matter. And whenever you see that, that means no solutions. Okay, so whenever you see this, 0, 0, 0, 1, that means no solutions. Okay? So that's the same thing we're going to be doing in class, but it's kind of a review. If you need to go back through the video and again, make sure you can use that Desmos tool, pretty user-friendly. If you have any questions, let me know. Until next time, stay safe.